Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mike here at Game From Scratch. And if you were hoping 2020 stayed in 2020, well, I got bad news for you. We've got some very 2020 stuff happening in 2021. I, for one, was hoping 2021 would be the most boring year in history. Sadly, it isn't looking like that. So what we've got here, if you've never heard about it, the SolarWinds Hack. By the way, what cave are you in, and does it have space for me? Well, SolarWinds was a tool used as a network monitoring tool, and basically there was a malicious update for SolarWinds that was kind of exploited, they're saying, by Russian intelligence, and this hack hit so many huge companies, basically local, state, and federal agencies across the US. Big companies like Microsoft were hit, and they did it through this SolarWinds. Now, SolarWinds, I've actually used this in a company in the past. It's a network monitoring company, kind of lets you know what's going on in your network. It's sort of like a little mini Big Brother thing, but it has very pervasive reach. And what they did is they compromised an update, and then it kind of gave them a backdoor into all these various different networks through the SolarWinds hack. And I guess it's been going on since, they're guessing, like March now. So for about a year's time, there's been an unreasonable amount of access into these networks due to this SolarWinds breach. Now, okay, this is something nothing to do with game development at all. Never covered it on this channel. Don't really want to talk about it. Unfortunately, today's news makes me talk about it. And that is because a company that I really like, a company that I have spoken of many times on this channel, and a company whose products you quite possibly use, are now implicated. Now, I got to tell you right up front, this is for a product that you probably don't use, which is the good news, and this is just an investigation at this point. So I have two articles from this, but what we were talking about is JetBrains. Now, JetBrains, if you've never heard of them, they make a series of developer tools. They make cross-platform IDEs for just about every language you've ever heard of. Their flagship product was probably IntelliJ IDEA, which is a Java IDE, but they also make, using kind of the same technology, they make WebStorm, PHP Storm, Ruby IDE. Then we've got, in the game development world, they make Project Rider, they make CLion, the cross-platform C++ IDE. Like I said, there are probably a lot of you out there that use JetBrains technologies. Well, the FBI is currently investigating whether hackers behind a series of intrusions at U.S. federal agencies and companies also broke into product management software created by the Czech-based company JetBrains in order to breach its customers. Two people familiar with investigations told Reuters on Wednesday. Now, I do have to point out, investigations. There's no guilt here. There's no culpability here yet. This is 100% investigation at this point in time. Now, this article is a bit more salacious. This is from the New York Times. I will link both these in the linked article down below. This goes into a bit more depth on it. And they say Russian hackers may have piggybacked on the tool developed by JetBrains, which is based in the Czech Republic, to gain access to the federal government and private sector systems in the United States. So American intelligence agencies and private cybersecurity investigators are examining the role of widely used software company, that doesn't even make any sense, JetBrains, in the far-reaching Russian hacking of federal agencies, private corporations, and the United States infrastructure, according to officials and executives briefed on the inquiry. They are investigating, once again, investigating, not guilty yet, whether the company founded by 3 Russian engineers in the Czech Republic with research labs in Russia was breached and used as a pathway for hackers to insert backdoors into the software of an untold number of technology companies. Security experts warn that the months-long intrusion could be the biggest breach of the United States networks in history. JetBrains, which counts 79 of the Fortune 100 companies as customers, is used by developers at 300,000 businesses. One of them is SolarWinds, which we talked about earlier on. That was the technology that was ultimately used for a lot of these hacks. JetBrains said on Wednesday that it has not been contacted by government officials and was not aware of any compromise. The exact software that investigators are examining is a JetBrains product called TeamCity, which allows developers to test and exchange software code before it's released. So basically, it's a staging app and that kind of thing. It's, a collaboration app for developers. By compromising TeamCity or exploiting gaps in how customers use the tool, cybersecurity experts say the Russian hackers could have invisibly planted backdoors in a number of JetBrains clients. Separately, the Justice Department announced that its email system had been compromised as part of the SolarWinds hacking. So that's not JetBrains' email, that's the Justice Department's email, which, hey, there's nothing like having the Justice Department's emails all out there as part of this hack as well. So if you do not not know about this SolarWinds hack, it is huge. It has huge ramifications across the entirety of private and public and governmental organizations in the U.S. It's a big deal, and it's probably not limited to just the U.S. The SolarWinds is used basically around the world. Here, they are seeking to learn if it was a parallel way for Russia's main intelligence agency to enter government systems, or whether it was the original pathways for Russian operatives to first infiltrate SolarWinds. So the theory here is SolarWinds, they pushed out a malicious update that had a backdoor in it. So all of the SolarWinds customers installed this update, and then they got a backdoor in their networks. Now, what they seem to be implying here is that JetBrains' TeamCity was used potentially to breach SolarWinds and push it out, or possibly it was another SolarWinds type breach. On Tuesday, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the National Security Agency issued a joint statement declaring formally that Russia was the most likely origin of the hacker, but the statement offers no details and made no mentions of JetBrains software or the SVR, Russia's most skilled intelligence agency. So Google, Hewlett-Packard, and Citibank, the company is widely used by developers of Android mobile software. It also counts Siemens, a major supplier of technology, and critical infrastructure such as power and nuclear plants as a customer, as well as VMware, a technology company that the National Security Agency warned on December 7th was also being used to break into networks. So VMware is in there as well. A spokesperson from JetBrains said the company did not know whether its customers had been affected. SolarWinds confirmed Wednesday that it used TeamCity software to assist with the development of its software and was investigating the software as part of its continuing investigation. The company said it has yet to confirm a definitive link between JetBrains and the breach and compromise of its own software. Previously said 18,000 customers downloaded its compromised software, but investigators believe Russia was judicious in which of those networks it gained access to, making it difficult to quickly assess the damages. So we're kind of going back here about the scope of the attack, people that found it and researched into it. Not much more here about JetBrains itself. So all we have here is like a security guy basically saying compromising and introducing a backdoor into a build environment such as TeamCity is the holy grail of supply chain hack. Co-founder of CrowdStrike, who now runs Silverado Policy Accelerator, referring to the method Russian hackers use to enter victim systems through their supply chain software vendors. And I don't think you're going to get a lot more details out of here. It's all speculative at this point in time. It is all investigation at this point in time, but we're kind of going to get to the point where as this comes out to be true, we just can't trust software anymore, which is kind of getting a little disturbing. It is really sad to see that JetBrains is one of them. Once again, they make a broad swath of software. A lot of, again, I've covered on this channel. They make their own JVM-based language called Kotlin, which I've been meaning to learn for ages. And then they make a number of developer tools. You see here, the number that I'm talking about is staggering. Basically, pick a programming language, they make an IDE for it. So yeah, they even have a Go language IDE. So they've got a lot of really, really good products out there. Of interest to game developers basically are Rider and CLion most of the time. Those are really heavily used. We've got IntelliJ also used if you're doing Java development. IntelliJ is probably one of the best IDEs out there. WebStorm for web development and so on. But the one thing that we're actually talking about here is in their team tools. It's this guy right here, TeamCity. So this shouldn't really impact any of you guys unless you're using TeamCity, and in that case, just leave some notes for hackers so that they can have something fun to read on your network, I guess. I don't know. Kind of getting to the point where just compiled software is terrifying. Like, we're gonna have to do an audit of all software we use, which is going to be insane. I got a feeling that like what kind of blows my mind in all of this is that they don't like black box these software and watch where traffic comes in and out for every single thing that goes into these secured areas. You would have thought that would be standard operating procedure, but it doesn't seem to. So this is a big deal, this hack in general, not necessarily the JetBrains stuff. Hopefully JetBrains gets absolved of any guilt or responsibility in this, but they are definitely under investigation, and that sucks. So 2021, come on, just No, let's go back to being normal. We all just want normal, please. So let me know what you think. Are you using JetBrains software or languages? And specifically, are you using TeamCity? And does this kind of make you hesitant? Because really, there's nothing to say that they've hacked in your development tools or anything like that. But if you get into the development tool level and you can actually inject and exploit into all the binaries that are created using developer tools, that is terrifying. And I got to say one thing here, because I know there's going to be a lot of comments down below, and I probably should have said this earlier in the video, but source code, open source people, I hate to tell you, but the NSA was already caught injecting backdoors into open source software as well. So unless someone's actually going through and reading these millions and millions of lines of code, they did pretty good privacy. They did a hack of that in the past, and who knows what other stuff they've done. So without a certain amount of due diligence, open source software doesn't necessarily protect you from this either. And even in that case, you've got to build all the binaries yourself after you have audited all of the millions of lines of source code in that open source project. This is all kind of terrifying. All right, that's it. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.